Well, good morning, everyone. What's showing over here? Okay, I'm in a new setting. I'm here at Diamond Mountain, and it's really exciting. We're expecting 250 people in person, and I think about 1,600 people online for the new beginning, opening the door to the Diamond Way. So I'm very excited to be here. And I'm very excited to continue with our amazing Sanskrit work. So we have a great class today. I think Marina is going to show you a picture I took yesterday out of the window here, very early in the morning, a glamorous picture of my car parked next to Venerable Sunam's tractor. So here at Diamond Mountain, we have a combination of beauty and practicality. So I hope everyone is doing the homework. Let me know if you have any challenges or problems, because we could potentially set up some study groups where we can work with each other together on homework issues. Quiz number 2 is coming. So quiz number 1 is in your hands. Please do it. And okay, let's get to work. Next slide, please. So we took a big, cold, refreshing, exhilarating plunge into nouns a couple of weeks ago. That was our first exciting cold plunge into icy water, learning that every Sanskrit noun has 24 different forms. That was a shock, right? But we are tough. We are Sanskrit students. We can handle it. Now, here is the second. Let's have the next slide, please. This is a topic that seems more frightening or scary than it is: compound consonants. So every Sanskrit consonant is frequently appears in combination with one or more other consonants. And this means it has no vowel between them, just two consonants or three or more put together. We're used to this in our Western languages. It's not difficult for us to pronounce them, but the way we write them is different. In Western languages, we just write the consonants next to each other. They're standalone letters and they just appear with no vowel in between them. So here are some examples from the sentence we just spoke. Western, the S and the T are written next to each other. Language, the N and the G. Between, T and the W. So we're very used to this. What we're not used to is, or we're not going to be used to, is the fact that in Sanskrit, they are written differently. They're not written as two standalone consonants next to each other. They have their own shape and form, and they appear as different glyphs, if you will. They have different forms. Let's have the next slide. So we already know some. Is there anybody here today who feels comfortable to read to us the first word there? You know all those letters. Be brave, think about it, open your mics. I'm going to give you a little time. Someone there knows how to do this. Nobody comfortable today? Okay, that is a sa u ta ra. Sutra. So when we studied the letter R in its vowel and consonant forms, we saw that the way it's written is sometimes as a stroke downward attached to the consonant it's combined with. So here in this word sutra, which is a long U, sutra, you see the t and the ra combined together in a different form than the way they are written when they are single consonants. Anybody feel good about saying the second word out loud?
Dharma.
Dharma. Good. And there, which two consonants are combined?
R and M.
Yes, R and M. Dharma. Dharma. There's no vowel in between them. So this we also studied previously. That very mysterious and volatile letter R is often written above the sutra as that curve, and it's written on top of the consonant it's combined with. So even though we say dharma, we write it dharma, if that makes any sense. What about the third one? We saw that several weeks ago. Does anyone remember that initial consonant there? I'll give you a hint. We said it's sometimes even considered one of the main consonants. So instead of 33, if you add these next two that I'm showing you, we actually have 35 consonants. Do you recognize any of the letters in that word?
It's sha.
Yes, ksha,
Na.
kshana,
Kshana.
kshana. That second letter is a cerebral nasal, so the downstroke is not a long A. Confusingly, it's part of that letter and it's standalone. And what is the first consonant there? You said it, so you know. Ja, ksha. And it's a combination of k and shra, a cerebral sibilant. So this is, for some reason, this is the way the Sanskrit is written. That's a ksha. And there's no, well, I shouldn't say, how do we know about the vowels? Are they written there? No. Is that no? No. Why are they not written?
It's the primal sound.
Yes. It's the automatically attached that we know is the vowel if no other vowel or vowel marker is written. And the fourth word there, who knows that one? Yes. Say more. Come on. Say the rest.
Jnana.
Jnana. Perfect. Yes. Jnana. That first letter is a compound consonant for j and n. I think that is the, I'm going to say that's the palatal, jnana. I have to check it. And what do we know about the vowels in this one?
Long,
Long, And what about the last one? The last consonant. What kind of vowel does it have?
no.
The automatic, the primal sound. Yes. So, okay. Now, may I have the next slide? So those are 4 ways of writing compound consonants. Brace yourselves. Here are the rest. Let's have the next slide. Now, going in alphabetical order, starting with the first varga, The first letter is what in the first varga? You see it here. Recite the alphabet song in your mind and tell me the first letter in the consonants.
Ka.
Ka. Good. And here is ka. On the left are the two consonants we're putting together. And on the right are the way they look, written in Devanagari. Okay. So you see the first one in Devanagari, it has half of the ka attached to a whole ka. The second one has half of the ka attached to the hard aspirated ka in the first varga. And these are the different ways the letters are written. Most of them are doubles, but if you look toward the middle, you see that there are several triples and even one quadruple, one with 4 combined consonants. That is very unusual, but it does occur. Now, let's have the next slide, and the next slide, and the next slide.
My God.
Keep going. More. More. Okay. So I'm sorry to say that there are 33 consonants, and each one of them has multiple compound forms. So we started with ka, and here we are with ha, which is the last one. And next slide. So I don't want you to freak out. I hope the interpreters can translate freak out. I don't want you to become upset. I don't want you to become discouraged. The list can be overwhelming. But there is no need to memorize them all or learn them all. The important thing is to know the consonants and know how to write each one standalone in Devanagari. But as we move deeper into translation, we will need to know what a compound consonant is and how to recognize them. So after class, I'm actually going to send you that list of compound consonants. And basically, I think the way you want to use it is when you're looking at a word in Devanagari in a text and you want to read it, try to figure out what the compound is, and then just look it up in alphabetical order in the list. We'll take more of an organic approach. So when we see a compound consonant in our text, we'll examine it and we'll learn them as they come up. You'll quickly come to recognize them. And it's just a question, like every other activity or effort in life, of sticking to it and learning a small bit every time you examine it. So I want you just to be aware that they exist and you will be seeing them. And this list is a little bit rough. I apologize. I cut it out of something else and pasted it. And if you want to, this is by no means mandatory. This list will be plenty for you to use. Feel free to Google Sanskrit compound consonants. Maybe you'll find something that's more usable to you in a format that's more comfortable. And just be aware that, what you find on the internet is sometimes reliable and sometimes not. So, generally speaking, just be relaxed. Don't be worried about this. Okay. So, we won't spend a lot of time memorizing them. And we won't really focus too much on writing them in this series. So, just be aware. Any questions so far? Next slide, please. Okay, just for fun, let's take our compound consonant skills. And what do you think this word is? So we know the first consonant and the first vowel. Does anyone remember what that first consonant is?
Ba.
Ba. And what is its vowel in this case?
U. Bu.
Ooh, long or short?
Short.
Short. Ooh. Now, if you look at that second letter, is there anything you do recognize about it?
It looks like da.
Yeah, it's a da, which is what varga and what part?
Third varga, I think. Yeah. Amazing.
It's a fourth
What?
varga.
Fourth.
It's a dental da, exactly. So it is soft, unaspirated fourth varga. Now, what on earth is that thing underneath it, do you think? We know it's a compound consonant, right? Does it look like any one, and I could guess two consonants that you know stand alone? Not the whole thing, but part of something.
G.
It looks like it could be a g, but it's not.
It's a ta. Dha.
It's a da, right?
Mm.
It's a fourth varga, soft aspirated. So, I mean, it could have been a g because we're not sure, but this is why you need a list. Check. It's actually a duh. So if you say these sounds together, what do you come up with?
Buddha.
Buddha. Yes. So this is how you write Buddha. So you would say Buddha. So we just say Buddha, but that's how it looks because it's a compound consonant. And you would write it, I should have put it here, but I did not. Buddha. And of course, we know we're familiar with this writing of the word Buddha in all of our studies. Okay. So let's sing the consonant song just to refresh our minds of the basics. I'll say the first varga first, and then you say it with me. So please get ready, open your mics. So we start with k, k, g, g, n. Say with me.
Ka. Ka. Ka.
G,
Ka.
K,
Ka.
N.
No.
Ch, ch, j, j, n.
Ch,
Cha.
ch,
Cha.
j,
Cha.
cha,
Cha.
na.
Nga.
Cerebral. T, t, d, d, n.
Ta.
T,
Ta.
Da,
Da.
ha,
Ta.
No.
Na.
and then the next one, which is dental. T, t, d, d, n. T,
Ta.
ta, da,
Da.
ha,
Ta.
na.
Na.
No.
labial. I'm sorry. P, p, b, b, m. P,
Pa.
Pa,
Pa.
pa, ba,
Ba.
pa,
Pa.
ma.
Ma.
those are the basics. And then we also have the semi-vowels, which start with the guttural ya, ra, la, va. Say with me.
Ya, ra,
La,
la, va.
And the sibilants will start with the guttural, which, what did I say with ya? Ya is not a guttural. Ya is a palatal. Ga, ra, la, va. And the sibilants start with the guttural, which is h, then sha, sha, sa, which is dental. So say that with me. H, sha,
Ha,
Sha,
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 sa.
sa.
And just for good measure, let's recite the vowel song. Okay. So you can do this with me. Uh,
I,
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 U,
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 R,
er,
R,
er,
Lir,
ler,
Lir,
ler.
A, I, O,
O,
Au,
au.
Aha.
Aha.
Okay, great. So you can start to see how very crucial it is to have a good integrated understanding of the 16 vowels and the 33 consonants. And then you can move anywhere from there. Okay. Next slide, please. Back to nouns. So we know what this is. It's a masculine noun of the type ending in short and it is declined in 3 numbers in 8 cases. So we're going to just go through this and recite it. So I'll say it first, then you say it after me, and we'll go case by case. Yoga, yogao, yoga,
Yoga,
Yogaha.
yoga,
Yogao.
yoga.
Yogaha.
So notice how the first nominative singular has a long and a short, then the dual has 2 longs, and the plural has 2 longs. So accusative, yogam, yogao, yogan. Say with me.
Yogam, yoga,
Yogao.
yogan.
Yogan.
The accusative singular, I want to hear 3 beats. Yogam. So say that with me.
Yogam.
Yogam,
It's not yogam, it's yogam. Say one more time.
Yogam.
yogam,
And then instrumental. Yogena, yogabhyam, yogahi. Say with me.
yogena,
Yogena.
yogabhyam,
Yogabhyam.
yogaih,
Yogaih.
yogaih,
Yeah, that one's fun. Yogahi. Okay, dative. Yogaya, yogabhyam, yogebhyaha. Say with me.
Yogaya.
yogabhyam,
Yogabhyam.
yogebhyah,
Yogebhyaha.
Last one, dative plural has a short in the last syllable. So again, pay attention. It's yogebhyaha. Say with me.
Yogebhyaha.
Ablative. Yogat, yogabhyam, yogebhyaha. Say with me.
yogat,
Yogabhyam.
yogabhyam,
Yogebhyaha.
yogebhyaha,
Genitive. Yoga, yoga, yoho, yoganam. Say with me.
Yogasya.
yogat,
下 yoga
Yoga.
Yes, yoga.
yo
Yoganam.
Locative. Yoge. Yoga yoho. Yogeshu. Again.
Yoge. Yoha. Yogeshu.
That's perfect. And vocative, yoga, yogao, yoga. With me.
yoga
Yogao. Yogaha.
Very good. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to see if Marina can give us a split screen, and we're going to review a little bit the usages of these different cases. So Marina, if you can, give us this screen and the next one that says review. So we'll give her a second to set that up. So if I wanted to say something like, the 6 yogas of Naropa are interesting, which form would that word yogaha take in Sanskrit? The 6 yogas of Naropa are interesting. Think about
Genitive.
that. The 6 yogas of Naropa, who would be genitive there, yoga or Naropa? Who do the yogas belong to?
Naropa in genitive.
Naropa in genitive. Naropasya, maybe. But what would yoga be? Which word would it be?
Maybe yogaha.
Is that nominative singular or nominative?
Yes. No, it's not singular, plural.
Well, what would it be?
Yogaha.
That's right. Yes, yoga naropasya, right? 6. I'm not ready to decline numbers yet, but 6 is shat. So some declension of shat yoga naropasya. So this is just a example. Marina, how are we coming with doing a split screen with this slide and the next one? She needs 2 minutes. Okay. So we'll continue with this. So if I wanted to say something like, I knew Ashtanga yoga and then I learned Kripalo yoga, and I derived great benefit from these 2 yogas. What word would it be in Sanskrit for from these 2 yogas?
The ablative case?
Ablative case, yes. Which number?
Would be dual.
Would be dual, yes. So which word?
Yogabhyam.
Yogabhyam. From these 2 yogas in one word. Isn't that amazing? Lovely. So, and this came up last week. So if we had a dog and the dog's name was Yoga, and we wanted to say, hey, Yoga, would you like a cookie? What word would which form of the word yoga would we choose since the dog's
Vocative. Yeah.
locative? What does the locative case do for us?
I thought vocative. Hey, teacher.
Yes, vocative. The locative case tells us its location, like it's in the room or something. But the vocative case is when we address our dog named Yoga and we say, hey, Yoga, do you want a cookie? So which word would we use?
Singular
Yoga.
vocative yoga.
Singular, vocative singular, which is yoga, right? If we had two dogs named Yoga, and what would we use?
Yogao.
You go.
Yoga. Now we're just being silly. Okay, great. I think I've given Marina a difficult task here, so maybe we should just go to the next screen. Marina, should we go to the next screen or are you almost done? Ah, there we go. Next screen. Perfect. Okay, so we're just going to quickly review this, and we just did a little bit about it. But nominative is when the noun is the subject of a sentence. Yoga is fun. Accusative is when it is the object of the sentence. In this case, we would use yogam. Yogam. In the instrumental, we would use the yogena form, meaning from or due to or because of. In the dative, which is to or for, it would be yogaya. The ablative, from, by, at, yogat. These are all singular examples. In the genitive, the poses of yoga are many, and this is sort of what we were talking about in our first example. The genitive case is when something belongs to yoga, like poses belonging to yoga. So you wouldn't put pose in the genitive, you would put yoga in the genitive. So pose would be the subject, asana, say, and of yoga would be yogasya. So the poses of yoga would be, well, actually, asanaha yoga, yogasya. Asanaha, because it's plural, yogasya. The locative is location, something that's in something else, in the room, in the family, in yoga class. So we would use yoge. And then in if the vocative, we've already used this silly example of having a dog named Yoga. Okay, so we can, thank you, Marina. That's sorry I gave you a challenge here. Zoom does not easily tolerate split screens, I am told. So Marina has to take pictures of each screen I want and put them together, I think, in a slide. It's very complex. So thank you for your technical expertise and support. So let's try a little bit more of that exercise. If we wanted to say, I am using two kinds of yoga to improve my health, what case would yoga be in?
Genitive.
Genitive, yes. And which number?
Number 3.
No,
Oh, not 3. It's a genitive. It's
Singular.
5, 6. 1, 2, 3.
no, genitive is right. That's the case.
Six.
But is it singular, dual, or plural?
Singular.
It's
I am
two.
using two kinds of yoga.
2 kinds. But the 2 kinds are dual. But yoga is singular.
You're technically you're correct. I misspoke. I should have said I am using two yogas to improve.
Mm-hmm.
And if I did say kinds of yoga, you're right, it would be a different case. But what if I said I am using two yogas to improve my health? Oh, go ahead.
Do.
Dual. What
Yoga.
case? I am using
Yoga.
yogas.
It's an object accusative.
Yes, that's the object. I am using yogas. So which would the word be? Two kinds. I am using two yogas to improve my health. Accusative, what number? Singular, dual, or plural?
Dual.
So what's that word?
Yoga.
Yoga. Using two yogas. Now, I want to revisit what we just discussed, which is two kinds of yoga. I think that would still be dual, because if we are talking, for instance, about two ears, and we were talking about qualities of our ears, we would probably still use the dual. So this is a philosophical point that we could discuss and maybe argue later if it comes to using that. But right now, I just want to get you used to thinking about which case and which number we're in. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Thank you, Marina, for doing that. I see myself on a large screen suddenly. Next one, yeah. Good. Okay, here's our verse. And we left off here last week. And we see in this line both karyam and karinam. So very simply, what do you notice, if anything, about what these two nouns have in common? Very simple.
Long.
Say, I'm not hearing you well. Say again.
Long.
Long, yeah. Pay some more attention to the consonants, since these are nouns.
Right.
What consonants? I'm looking here for shared consonants.
They both have the consonant ka.
And what other consonant do they share?
R.
R. And they both happen to have ma, but those are case endings, so they're not so crucial to the meaning. Let's have
The first ma would be a vowel.
no, it's a anusvara. Andreas and I are going to have a long talk about anusvara someday.
Yes, it confuses me that it is in the vowel song because it's not actually a vowel.
It's not a vowel, but it's in the vowel song because it's a vowel marker. And it affects the quality of the sound of the vowel that precedes it.
Correct.
And it's always attached to a ma. So that's why we say ma as a sound. But you're absolutely right. It's not a vowel in and of itself. So it would not be correct to say that's a vowel. It's a marked vowel. So it's a vowel marker. I agree. It's completely confusing. And it's not like any other language that I'm familiar with, which doesn't mean there aren't some that have this as well. But there's, so the ka and the ra are shared. So next slide, please, Marina. Karyam and karinam. So just look at those two shared components. Now, we're going to get used to seeing the last syllable or so, maybe two syllables of a noun as case endings. So they're not going to be affecting the central core of that noun or the central meaning of that noun. They're just going to tell us the flavor of the noun used in that sentence. So let's go to the next slide. So if you saw those two words written in this combination with this symbol, what would you think they were?
It's a root, and I think it's singular nominative.
Close. It's definitely a root. So that first one is the root. The second one, it's convention. By convention, by habit, by custom. When we give root information about a word, we give the Sanskrit root, and then we give the third person singular of the verbal form. And this gives you a hint about what vowels are associated with it. So here we see the root is kar, and the third person singular verb form is karote, which means he, she, or it, whatever the verb means.
When you say third person singular of the verb form, which case are you referring
Ah, great question. Nouns have cases. Verbs.
Oh, that's right.
And luckily, verbs are a little bit simpler than nouns because they don't have 8 cases. So nouns are declined in 8 cases, but verbs are conjugated in 3 persons and 3 numbers. First person, second person, third person, singular, dual, and plural. So there's only, what is that? 9 forms of a verb. So that's a bonus coming up. We briefly saw verbs when we conjugated asme, which means to be, asme, or asti, I guess, because asme is I am. Asti would be the third person singular. But let's just separate for now in our minds nouns, which we're studying, from verbs, which will come later. So, and this is confusing, Andreas, because we have a root and a verb form, but we're talking about a noun here. This is just the convention. So the convention is to write the root and one of the verbal forms to give us hints about which vowel that verb is going to take. So let's see, what else did I have to say here? All right. Well, I'm pulling this out because it's one of the most important words in Sanskrit that we will be using. So let's look at the next slide. What do you think this is? We just saw the Sanskrit root.
Indo-European root.
Yes, this is the Indo-European root. So let's go to the next one. Yes, the Indo-European, i.e., root of kr. So Indo-European is that mythical language which is older than Sanskrit. And in Indo-European, this root means to do, make, or build. Now, I don't know, i.e., Indo-European. You have to be a linguist to know it. But if I try to say this root, I get an interesting feeling. I get a sense of how this vowel version of er, which is our Sanskrit semivowel, developed. Because when I say this, I'm not promising that I'm saying it correctly. I say quer or something. How would you say it? Not knowing Indo-European, any of us, assuming. Who wants to practice saying that out loud?
Quer.
Quer. Quer or quer. Anybody else want to take a crack at it?
Quer.
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 Yeah. So do you see what I'm saying? It sort of gives you that feeling, doesn't it? At least it gives that to me. Next slide. So Interestingly, the kar, the Sanskrit root, also means to make or do. So this is one of the reasons Geshe Michael is so keen on teaching us roots. Anytime in any Sanskrit word that you see the letters ka plus either er or ra, the vowel or the semivowel, near each other in a word, verb or noun, it's almost definitely going to be from the root kar. So when you see those two letters, even if they're separated by things, vowels, you immediately know or are pretty sure that that word has some flavor of make or do, because that's the root meaning of kar. That's why he's so keen on the study of roots. I mean, I can give you just one word that we are all very familiar with, which is karma. We would write that Karma. So you see that there's a kar root there, and it means action. So here's an example. Who can read this Devanagari?
It's alankara.
It's alomkara, exactly. So which part of it, let's have the next slide. Which part of it do you think is this root kar?
Kara.
The very last two, well, the three characters there, yes. And here is something, I added something to this word. Who can read the first two syllables? First, go ahead. A bit. And what about the next three?
Some, sama, ya, that's it, yeah.
Start there.
Lan, yeah.
Samaya.
Samaya.
And what about that syllable? Say the rest of it, starting with ya.
Ya lankara.
Yalamkara. So if we put that together, what do we get?
Abhisamaya lankara.
Very good. And there is the beautiful name of the ornament of realizations by Master Asanga. And you may have heard of this work if you are studying Buddhism. So I think that the takeaway point here is that if you saw this enormous word and you didn't know anything else, you would know that the kara at the end has some connotation of making or doing. So let us, let's see, I think I'm missing a slide here because I wanted to talk about, oh, not that one, no. I think I wanted just to talk about how alamkara is created. So alam is a word in Sanskrit that means ornament or decoration. Kara is a word that we see has a root of kar and has a meaning of making. So when you say alamkara, it means making decorated. Abhi is a preposition meaning toward or about or to. Samaya is a complicated word meaning spiritual agreement, or here we're calling it realizations. But look how alamkara is created out of two meanings: making decorated, which is translated as ornament. So I think that's just a very interesting indication of how we can use our roots to get a sense of how words are made, and then how we finesse that into an elegant translation of ornament, where it really is just saying making decorated. Any questions? Okay, let's go back to our verse from Master Shantideva's. Next slide, please. Next one, yeah. Master Shantideva's Bodhisattva Charya Alankara. All right, so we're going to move on to the second line there. Can you find the word nirmalasya in this verse?
First word, second line.
First word, second line. Good. Easy to use the ayas to help you there. So let's go to the next slide. There it is in the Devanagari. So nirmala is a word that means free from stain, as in free from sin or free from dirt or free from anything bad. So does anyone know another word in Sanskrit that means free from stain or pure?
It's like a Vimala.
Yes, exactly. So now we have synonyms. We know so much Sanskrit that we know synonyms. So what is the case of this word here? And I'm sorry, we don't have the chart up. You may
So
have it.
it's genitive. Yeah.
Genitive dual.
Singular.
Singular, very good. So nir is a prefix meaning not. And mala is a noun meaning stain. So here we see the genitive singular of the word nirmalasya. And without knowing too much about the context here, how would you translate nirmalasya into English? Just the phrase, you don't know the whole sentence or the real meaning, but you know something about what this means. What is the quality, that the flavor that the genitive case implies?
So something possesses, or something is possessed by free from stain. Something possessed.
Like the first one. The second one has a more passive idea that's not in play here.
So something that has the quality of being free from stain.
Yes, exactly. Something that is possessing the quality of being free from stain. In an easy way or a simpler way, we might say, this word here can be translated as of purity, belonging to purity, having purity. So you see the power, begin to see a little bit of the power of the declined noun. So, okay, great. Now, if we look at the Devanagari, someone explain to me those two marks above the sutra.
The first one is a short I, the second one is R.
Yes. So the first one is a hook that goes from the n, the consonant it belongs to the left, indicating short vowel. And the vowel is I because of the way it's written. And the second mark is that a vowel or a consonant?
Consonant.
Yeah, it's a semivowel, which is a consonant.
Mm.
And why do we know that?
Well, if I'm cheating, the highest R doesn't have a dot underneath it.
Ah, that's an excellent way of checking it. And if you are doing it cold turkey Devanagari, you know it's a semivowel or consonant because it's written above the sutra. And vowels are generally almost, I wouldn't going to say always, written below the consonant, underneath. Great. Okay. So that's what that is. Now let's have the next slide. Can we find the word kulasasya in this Devanagari? Feel free to use the I asked.
Yeah, it's the second in the second line.
And then the second line, yes. Now, this is a little interesting. It's very difficult, I think, to say this word. Can we get everyone here to take a shot at saying this word out loud?
Kulasya.
All right, say one at a time.
Kulasya.
Kulasya.
Ulasya. You guys are good. I thought this would be more challenging.
Oh, for Russian speaking, it's not challenging.
Russian is easy, good. All right, kulasyasya. Kulasyasya. So what letters do you notice here? Only the ones you know, and then we'll talk about the ones you may not know too well yet. What consonants do you see?
K,
Yeah.
L.
Yeah.
The L, is that a consonant?
That is a consonant. Now you know, Andreas, because you can check the I asked. No dot.
Yeah.
But why do you know in the Devanagari?
I thought it was a lir.
Not. That's what we're asking. If it was a lir in the Devanagari, what would that letter have that it does not have?
Dot under it?
Dot
Like
in the I asked, but
like a hook.
yes, the right side of that down curve would have an extra,
Yes. Yeah.
and it would be a lir, and that would be a vowel. But there is no hook here. So what is it?
Consonant.
Consonant, yes. So so you know the ka, you know the la. What is that next thing?
Two compound consonants, but they're both the same.
They are both the same compound consonant. So that is what it looks like when you have which two consonants together?
S and ya.
Sa and ya, right? So that's a sya. So that's how you would write it. Or if you're looking at it, that's how you would decipher it, sya. And are these two compound consonants connected
But
as consonants, or is there something between them?
there's a difference. There's one long sya, sya.
Yes. And one is a long and one is what kind of vowel? The first one is a long because it has a downstroke. What kind of vowel does the second one have?
Short vowel.
And we know that because
There's no stroke over it.
there's no
Line.
there's nothing, right? It just is a consonant, but it has no virama. And the virama would say, stop putting a vowel here. And what I mean by virama, look at the first line, the last word. Do you see that little mark under the ma? at the very end. That is our virama, and it means there is no vowel following that ma. So if you look in the ayast, you see it's karinam, and it ends with a consonant. So it has to have a virama. So we know there's a attached to that second siya because there's no virama. Okay, great. Now we have lots more to do, but unfortunately we're out of time. So we'll do it next week. But Marina, maybe we can go to the last slide. There I am again. Scares me. I'm enormous on the screen. Yeah. So thank you again. Remember to rejoice, please. And I want to say I made a mistake here because I wrote this yesterday. The new beginning is starting today. Still time to register. Online registration, scholarships available. You can do that at asianclassicsinstitute.org. And it is important because you need it if you want to take Diamond Way classes with Geshe Michael next year. So you have to attend these events. So celebrate, rejoice, homework coming, do your homeworks, ask questions in the chat. Thank you for taking Sanskrit, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A little bit about the micromanaging. What happens? Wait a second. This is patching. So Brian tried to set up something. Nowhere. And here's Francisco. So, thank you and goodbye. Please join when you cannot.
Thank you, Marina. Enjoy Diamond Mountain.
Thank you, Andreas. Thank you. Thank you, Jenna. Thank you, everyone. Bye.